You are exhausted. It's 3 a.m., the baby won't stop crying, you've tried everything. And for one dark, desperate second, you wonder, how did anyone do this before Google? Here's the insane answer: they almost didn't. But the ones who figured it out, they changed the entire course of human history. This is that story. Let's start with a weird fact nobody talks about. Human babies are born more helpless than almost any mammal on Earth. A baby horse stands up within an hour of being born. A baby shark swims on day one. A baby human can't hold its own head up for 3 months. So why are we like this? It's because our brains grew so fast, so big, evolution had to push us out early. We're essentially born premature compared to every other primate on the planet. But the real reason humans survived? It wasn't strength. It wasn't intelligence. It was grandmothers, which means our ancestors faced a terrifying reality. You have a tiny, screaming, completely helpless creature, and literally everything around you wants to eat it. Wolves, big cats, disease, cold nights, starvation. The odds were absolutely brutal. So how did any of us survive? For a long time, scientists thought it was the fathers, strong men, protectors, hunters bringing home food. But then researchers noticed something strange in modern hunter-gatherer tribes. The children who thrived the most, they almost always had one thing in common: a grandmother. Not just any grandmother, a post-menopausal grandmother, a woman who was done having her own children, but still very much alive, healthy, and completely devoted to her grandkids. This became known as the grandmother hypothesis, and it might be one of the most important discoveries in human evolution. Here's the idea. When grandmothers stopped reproducing, they didn't become useless. They became the most valuable members of the group. They foraged, they cooked, they carried babies so mothers could rest. They passed down knowledge that took decades to learn. In fact, researchers found that in some tribes, a child's survival rate almost doubled when their grandmother was present. Let that sink in. Your grandmother may be the reason you exist. Here's where it gets personal, and maybe a little painful. Modern parenting is lonely. Nuclear family, 4 walls. 2 parents, maybe 1, doing everything. And we wonder why we're burned out. But for 99% of human history, that's not how it worked. Babies were raised by the village, aunts, uncles, older children, grandparents, neighbors, all pitching in, all carrying the weight. Anthropologists call it cooperative breeding. And humans are one of the only species on Earth that does it. The load was shared, the baby was loved by many, and the mother, she actually got to sleep. We didn't evolve to parent alone. We evolved to parent together. Okay, now for the part that made me go, wait, what? You know how babies startle randomly? Like they're perfectly calm, then their little arms fly out like they saw a ghost? That's called the Moro reflex. And it's not random at all. Scientists believe it's an ancient survival mechanism, hardwired from a time when babies were carried in trees by mothers who were climbing or moving fast. If the mother slipped, the baby's arms would fly out, grabbing for a branch, for safety, or survival. That reflex is millions of years old. It's still inside your baby, right now. Today, we carry the entire history of our species in our bodies. Every startle, every cry, every time your kid reaches for you in the dark, that's evolution talking. So the next time parenting feels impossible, and it will, remember this: you are doing something humans have always struggled with. There was never a golden age where it was easy. Our ancestors lost children. They grieved. They adapted. They kept going. But they did one thing we've mostly stopped doing. They leaned on each other. The grandmother who showed up, the neighbor who held the baby, the friend who just sat with you in the hard moments. That's not weakness. That's the most ancient, powerful parenting strategy our species ever developed. You were never supposed to do this alone. Every human alive today is descended from parents who somehow kept a fragile child alive long enough to grow up against predators, against winter, against starvation. You are part of that unbroken chain. And somehow, generation after generation, we figured it out, which means you will too. If this changed the way you think about parenting or humanity, hit like, subscribe, and share this with a parent who needs to hear it today. Drop in the comments, did your grandmother shape who you are? I'll see you in the next one.